How did you manage to access all this information?
Electrical impulses. Every cell knows and talks to every other cell. They exchange 1,000 bits of information between them per second. Cells group together, forming a giant web of communication, which in turn forms matter. Cells get together, take on one form, deform, reform. Makes no difference, it's all the same. Humans consider themselves unique, so they've rooted their whole theory of existence on their uniqueness. One is their unit of measure, but it's not. All social systems we put into place are a mere sketch. 1 + 1 = 2, that's all we've learned. But 1 + 1 has never equaled 2. There are in fact no numbers and no letters. We've codified our existence to bring it down to human size, to make it comprehensible. We've created a scale so that we can forget its unfathomable scale.
But if humans are not the unit of measure, and the world isn't governed by mathematical laws, what governs all that?
Film a car speeding down a road. Speed up the image infinitely, and the car disappears. So what proof do we have of its existence? Time gives legitimacy to its existence. Time is the only true unit of measure. It gives proof to the existence of matter. Without time, we don't exist.
www.hoodmystic.com. Leave your ego at the door.
I zoned out, I ain't even gonna lie. What's going on, people? It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Just want to thank you for joining me. Real quick video. I guess quick is relative and subjective, but we do have the article out. I put the article out yesterday. Saturn, Pluto Retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius in Vedic Astrology, Sidereal Astrology. And what it may mean for the individual. It could very well mean that the Western perspective is representing the more overall view, and the Vedic perspective represents the individual's view and living this life and trying to make decisions and trying to learn as much as I can. I love the individual perspective. So with that being said, I'm the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com, altercreations.net, and just want to thank everybody for joining me on the live, man. Peace to everybody. Peace, peace, peace. And so I put out a video probably sometime last year called Saturn Explained, and it really kind of laid the groundwork for what I'm about to say now. So if you've never seen that video, it'd be good to kind of check it out. And I also put out a video called Pluto Explained as well. And the reality of a Saturn Pluto retrograde is that it's going to be for a while. Like, it's not going to be something that's going to be like a couple days, couple weeks, it's till the fall. And from there, later in 2020, Saturn and Pluto are gonna come at an exact conjunction. Every 33 years, these cycles happen. In the last 100 years, these 33-year cycles have marked war. And even though there may have been physical wars and physical battles, and there may be even more of those, the real war, it seems as though, is the war for your energy, the war for your time, the war for your attention. And we live in a world where family might not be your number one priority. Survival might be your number one priority, or making as much money as you possibly can, doing the best that you possibly can do. And dealing with the Saturn retrograde or dealing with the time retrograde is really like going into a space where your ego doesn't have the accolades and the, you did great, all of these things that we kind of hold ourselves up on, whether it's being attractive and getting a good job and that direct deposit hitting every week and helping out the homeless people on the weekend, like all of these things that we use to make ourselves feel better. One would say the opposite of that is being in that space where you don't have that and you have to find something else to be strengthened upon. Why, when things are going bad, business goes up for me. When things are going good, nobody tends to think about me, which is cool because I like to focus on my life, and I would hate to be that person that you could come to when things are going bad constantly over like getting readings every week about the same situation. I would not do that, but it's good to set people off in the right direction and they don't call you anymore. That's good. That's kind of the goal, because I want people to be sustained on themselves. And generally, spirituality and the ego, they're not really supposed to mix like that. And if they do mix, you got to know how to mix them. So Sagittarius, the card in the Thoth Tarot deck is art. And I got my deck right here. I will have to search for it real quick. Oh, that's quick. It was right at the bottom. Sweet. So art. If you could see this lady here, this is the card of Sagittarius. You see, she got her like you got to know how to mix the pot. Like everybody can't just cook crack. You feel me? Like it's a particular culinary art to know how to cook crack. Like you got to know how to mix your fire and your ice. Like you got to know how to cook in general. Like everybody can't just burn like you can. You understand? Like the way that you cook at a low temperature and let your onions simmer with the oil and the seasonings at just the right, like people eat it, get that sensation, can't just go repeat that in somebody else's kitchen. They got to get that recipe from you or hire you as a chef. So basically, when you are doing the spiritual work and you figure that it's gonna help or boost your ego or help your finances, and it's gonna be a successful thing that's gonna be like, you about to be the next hot spiritual person because you read a couple of books on like whatever, you feel me? Like I do readings and it's for time, but it's not like it's something that I'm very interested in and hoping that people call me and ask for a reading, because that means I'm gonna actually have to divert some of my time where I'm actually like backed up and like slice off a chunk of time to like, which is cool, but it's not like I'm doing it for ego. I'm doing it because maybe you need a reading, or maybe you want me to look at your astrological chart and you want me to break it down. I can't really do that for free. I can't, because it takes up too much time. And it's not like I gotta charge you a lot of money, but it has to have some balance, because if I was like, all right, everybody, I do free readings, then I wouldn't like, the people who actually needed the reading wouldn't get it, because everybody would just be inundating me with, you know, anytime I post something astrological on social media, I get loads of like DMs and messages like, hey, I'm a this and that. Tell me about my chart. You did 6-9's chart so well. And it's just like, yo, I'm just having fun. But ultimately, you got to know how to mix. Like, so even with all of that, I still have a job. I still have, you know, a business with my wife. I still have, you know, other things that I'm invested in that brings me finances, and passive income would be another theme going into this Saturn retrograde, because we're dealing with the second house. We're dealing with the house of finances. We're dealing with the house of possessions. And when we think about finances and we think about possessions, I know you niggas got y'all shit together. I know you niggas work so hard not to not have your money together, but then it could be another level of possession of a personality trait that no longer serves you, like being shy. Like, oh my God, y'all know how many people that are well off financially, but shy as shit, like wouldn't even say nothing to you. So this is a possession that, as being in retrograde, you have to really examine. In the article, I spoke to kind of taking a leisurely walk and like really having a hard, like a pause, a fantasy about being a karaoke singer, like doing karaoke, like this Stevie Wonder song came on, and I just really seen myself like doing karaoke. So I was like, I gotta like kind of go and do karaoke and just express myself like that. And and for me, that's kind of how it showed up, is just these personality traits that I've hold and possess. Like, I would never perform in public, you know. I would never do nothing like that. Like, I'm not even that personality type of person. But with this YouTube channel and the success with that, it's kind of giving me like, all right, you might have never been on stage and you might not be comfortable with stage, but such is life, and you have to begin to get comfortable on stage. And for whatever purpose, I don't know, but maybe it's to prepare me for speaking in front of people. Who knows? But the thought was so strong and pervasive that my ego and my personality would have been like, don't tell nobody about that, because people will put you on the spot, or put that like, I can't tell my wife about that, because her ass would be like, all right, we about to go to karaoke next weekend, about to find a babysitter, and you know, things like that. So, but it is what it is. It's something that I should do, something that just kind of like something that I said I wouldn't do, that I'm gonna decide to do. Give me 1 second. And so another big piece of this, we touched on a little earlier about the spiritual piece. Something so pervasive, something so like very much of a strong pull on something that I kind of just couldn't really shake off my mind as I slept and I woke up, and how people are really dead set on using this spirituality to enhance their physical life, to enhance their ego, to make their lives better. And I guess that's perfectly fine and perfectly normal, and you wouldn't think nothing of it, except when you going through a goddamn Saturn and Pluto retrograde, where I guess in the whole process, in the whole scheme of things, if I could digress for a quick second, We did the Venus in retrograde previously, and we talked about all of the different aspects of Venus, not Venus in retrograde, but Venus explained rather. And something in my heart told me, watch Lucy. And I guess after doing that whole study on Venus Explained and then watching the movie Lucy, it was so rewarding and so fulfilling. Like, it felt so good to like watch that movie and understand it and get it from a perspective of, oh, we need to learn. Oh, we need to expand. Oh, we don't know shit. Oh, we taking cues from people who want to control us. Oh, like, it's a lot of work that needs to be done. And that realization alone, it shifts your whole fucking frequency to somewhere else, because where you were at in a sad, depressed, I can't get my shit right state, that's all ego. That's all ego, because your ego wants to be in a space. It wants to have money. It wants to have success. It wants to have this sexual prowess. It wants to be sexually desirable. This is what the ego wants. So, and nothing is wrong with that, except when you go through a goddamn Saturn and Pluto Retrograde. Every video somebody is about to take a fall just because I'm doing these damn videos. But anyways, man, like with 3 little babies, like you take your eyes off of them for 2 seconds and it's just a wrap. But anyways, I guess hold on. Everything okay? Okay. All right. Back to this is live, y'all. I apologize. So back to the ego and what the ego wants and how it's not conducive to a Saturn retrograde, because Saturn represents time, and all of our goals and all of the things that we want, they happen within a frame of time. This is why we get so excited once something happens based upon the amount of time. Like an NBA season, when they win the championship, they is so excited because that shit took 8 months to complete. A motherfucking like versus a girl that, or a relationship where y'all fucked on the first night, versus y'all took some time, got to know each other, went on a couple of dates, build up the chemistry, text back and forth, sent a couple of news back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, got a vibe, like, okay, sent a couple of video, you peeped how she moved, you're like, oh, okay. Like, but she's not like letting me get what I want, but she's letting me know, like, okay, it's going in that direction, okay. And then you finally get it. It feels it feels much better than hitting on the first night. Not because anything is worse or bad between the people, it's just the amount of time and the amount of synergy that you created is more fulfilling. She don't have to do anything. I'm just saying it don't have to be anything. It's just the amount of time that it took for you to get to a place. But the way that you get there is not by telling me that I'm not ever gonna get no pussy, or not alluding to having sex or anything like that. Like, you're just telling me like, oh, I'm not that type of girl, but you can take me out to dinner. You know, that's a vibe. I understand that vibe. But another vibe is, we should get to know each other. We should have a time or some kind of standard that me and you create to get to this point where we're sexual. Might want to take a couple tests, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it feels a lot better, you know what I'm saying? Versus, let's just do it, and if a person is willing to kind of take those steps and go through that thing, he might be the one that's going to create a long-term positive relationship versus somebody who's just going to just like get what he wants and leaves. I don't know why we got on that, but just representing time and energy and fulfillment. The best things in life take the longest times to manifest. And I guess this is a difficult situation for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's cool. They're willing to work in it. They're willing to put the time, the effort. Y'all go to college. Y'all go to tech school. Y'all go through online school. You know, schools that don't even teach you shit, but they call schools. You know what I'm saying? Y'all will do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But for what purpose? If you have a particular purpose, if you have a particular goal, if you're trying to, you know, take this knowledge and do this with it, okay, you did that. You got the real estate license. Now you're selling real estate. You might be proficient at selling real estate, but it's the same hustle though as what you was doing before. Or you might make more money, but you haven't really changed or really developed or expanded. You made more money and that's cool. Like, that's cool. But a retrograde is kind of like not based upon your personal success and all. Like, what do you have on that retroactive space? And it's not something that, okay, you might not feel the effects of what I'm saying today, but this is a 6-month retrograde period, is lasting into the middle of the fall. So we'll see, as these illusions of grandeur that you set yourself up on, that kind of made you feel superior or made you feel better or just made you feel like, oh, I'm surviving. And I deeply feel like it's a purpose to it, to rise out of that victim mentality that's been created by whoever wanted to control whoever. As we expand our spirituality, this is why I say you could be in a space where you've fully developed and are fully in tune with what they call the shadow, what they call the soul, and has unified that into your everyday walking existence, and you know no fear. And this is not based upon, you know, some affirmations. This is based upon knowledge, illumination, connections, and then within those connections is confirmation. Much different from the connections where we feel like, oh, this feels good, or I know you, or I'm comfortable, or I'm safe. All of these things become under pressure because even in those situations, it's unfairness. It's shit is not right. Shit is not balanced. Shit is in order. And a retrograde psychologically is a simple retrospective. And if you're not able to really look at yourself in full totality and understand yourself in full spectrum, you're still not getting it yet. And I'll have to keep saying it because people are going to look at themselves as this individual human being and not look at themselves through a past lifetime full scope. And it's like, when you feel good about shit, when you feel great about shit, you stop learning. And so you have to begin to examine the shit that you feel great about, or else you realize that you in some fucking ego trap shit. Cause now I got my real estate license, but now I'm still a motherfucking slave to selling these motherfucking houses. Shit. You don't get that before you outside the prism of real estate. You just see it as opportunity. And you might be proficient at it, but you still gotta sell high. Like, you never not proficient enough that you tell me the real estate agent who, like, you know, maybe you just set up appointments or something. I don't fuck. Like, you know, you gotta think of some way to make some money in that realm though. And that's not an escape. It might be better, Still not an escape. And why would you need to escape? Because you're being subjugated. Your energy is being used by people who just want to use your energy so they can get their shit off. That's why you would want to escape. And that's why I say, dealing with the second house, you're dealing with a lot of passive income, you're dealing with connections, you're dealing with talent, you're dealing with skills, because as we move into this new moon, we're dealing into a new moon with relationships. And the type of relationships, though. I love what my wife is doing, because she's actually like trying to, like doing the best that she can, and trying to speak on chakras and doing chakra work and doing energy work, because shit, energy is the root of our being. Like, our body operates off of energy, and particular types of energy and particular light. What else does it operate off of? Do you think on your heart beating? Do you pray that your heart beats? Do you do mantras for your heart beating? Do you read books about how to make your heart beat? So the real important thing is energy. And as we align and balance and activate our chakras, then you get into mass being the body. Then you get into speed and the speed of light, which I guess we had to do the Venus Explained video before we could understand light, illumination, true knowledge. And what is true knowledge? We don't really know, because it shows up moment to moment to moment. And nobody is the champion of this shit. Nobody is the follower or the leader of this shit, because anybody speaking to you on, oh shit, thank you, Hood Mystic, or thank you, such and such, you done made my life better because I don't watch your video on YouTube. You need to wake the fuck up. Because if ever I woke anybody up, they got a book that I spoke to, or they looked up some shit that I spoke to, or a deity spoke to them or something. I ain't never done shit for nobody but help them get to they self. I say that time and time and time again. Is never me. Fuck me. You know what I'm saying? If ever I could get you to yourself, all the better. If ever I could get you angry enough to, get that anger out of you, and from that anger you felt better, more the better. So when we deal with everything, I guess, when we deal with Saturn plays on the assumption that somebody knows everything, and everybody is tiered off into a particular hierarchy. From there, it's the all-knowing God, then it's his angels, and then it's his sub-angels, and then his angels start giving niggas supervisor positions. And you can say, like, okay, that's a reality. We can see the government, but then you got like businesses, people on the internet, people like trying to make it like independent. And this could thrive, and this could be so great, and this could be so wonderful, but we need to learn how to support one another. And we got to learn how to create things to be fucking supported. So that's why this shit works well with the new moon. To destroy those old structures, and then, okay, I need to create something, right, that can solve a problem. Why do I need to do that? Because the reality of me being overworked is a reality. It's a reality. And what would seem like a normal phase you get over, is like a literal screeching, coming to a screeching halt, going back over it. Like, oh, remember that shit I was telling you about you being overworked? Yeah, that's a real thing. We need to look on that. Like, you've been working 40 hours and doing other shit, and then other shit on top of that, and other shit on top of that. Look, let's think about it. Because if we look at this real quick, not to go too much of a digress too much, but if we look real quick, we see this Saturn is in the third decan of Sagittarius, going into retrograde. And like I said, we'll be monitoring it for this whole entire time, but understand that this, even though that is 6 months of time, it's only going to retrograde an amount of 3 degrees. So it's literally going to be in this third decan for the whole entire time. Like, and then it's got to go back. So if you don't understand energy and distribution and working together and learning how to leverage your energy, leverage your time, learn how to create passive income for yourself, you are in a fucked up situation, my friend, that requires you to examine it, to change it, to edit it, because you can't do it alone. Nor should you ever think that you could have ever wanted to ever do it alone. How in the hell you think that you're going to just be just so spiritual and it's going to take care of your life? I never would want that on me. I would never want to depend on a person to support my lifestyle based upon my spiritual choice. I want to be so free in my spiritual expression, and you so choose to support me or not, but I'm going to take care of my family regardless. If I got to go to a goddamn tent place early in the morning and fucking whatever, I don't care. It would never be an issue. Unless it was an issue, then I would say, yo, it's an issue. Shit is fucked up. I need some help. I'm going to just keep it a buck. But right now, I think we just need to understand that whatever you feeling subjugated against, whatever you feeling overworked against, and whatever you thought would just pass, it'd just be a phase. Oh, this happens from time to time, such and such. Like, my wife been getting so many different channels and so many different shits where it all ties into, like, people's lies coming to a head. And even those lies coming to the surface and working themselves out of your system, and then kind of dealing with the truths. And it ain't even been easy, man. It hasn't been easy dealing with the truth of your relationship for 3 years. Okay, me and my wife, we figured to be honest and talk to each other and have a good relationship. And that is true, but there's still shadow shit that needs to be worked. There's still unfairness in the union, that grievances that needs to be expressed on both sides. And sometimes you just need to listen to your partner and not feel like it's a reflection of you, but man, this is how this person may feel. And you got to just let them know that it's okay to let me know how you feel. I'm not going to take it personally, but I need to know how you feel. I need to know that you don't think that you're doing things because I want you to do it. I need to know that you're doing these things because you want to do it, or this is your whatever. You just need to know the truth. And the truth during the retrograde is revealing. So you might not be feeling it today, but trust me, give me 6 months of kind of bouncing different planets off of triggering this shit. Triggering the fake spirituality motherfuckers and all of that. And not even that it's a bad thing, but you got to understand that these people is fake as shit, not because they're fake, but because you need to tap into your energy. You need to be into your shit that strong. So if you finding out that a person is fake as shit and that a person is a fraud, like, that's just one level. Something happened or something transpired to make you feel that way, to bring you closer to yourself. Everything happens for a particular reason. So what seems like a crisis, what seems like some real darkness or some real strife or struggle, is only to happen for you to come to terms with it, and so you could get to terms with yourself. And that's where we're at. Darkness disguised as light. Everybody done been there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, namaste. Look at my crystals. Look at how I'm rocking. And it's like, fuck that shit. Let's learn together, because we got a lot to learn. I don't trust people who can act like they know more than me. Like, man, me and you, we can learn together. That's why we got the shadow group, so we could begin to, like, exchange information, talk, build, like Google Hangouts, like having a group or collective, having respect for opinions, listening to each other, learning how to connect, learning how to grow. The thing that we have to learn on some real shit is how to relate to each other. Because if we only learn how to relate to each other based on proximity, based upon you, my family, based upon you close to me, based upon I knew you for so long, then we don't know shit about relating. And relating is a whole spiel of listening, silencing your thoughts, giving people respect. I could go on and on. But we have a whole lot to learn. A whole lot to learn. And with that perspective, that takes a lot of the stress and anxiety off. And you know exactly to do with people who feel like they know it all and go and sit and feel like they're going to argue down on some shit. First of all, they don't know your perspective, because you ain't coming from the perspective of knowing. You coming from the perspective of learning, acquiring knowledge, acquiring light. And that's the most admirable position, but there's so many people that want to exploit that and violate that position. Because as learners, I'm a learner. I'm a person that watch YouTube just like y'all. And that's just, that's how I'm gonna stay. Like, I'm not gonna ever feel like, oh, the great hood mystic out here spitting the hot knowledge and the hot facts and all of this. No. We just sharing information, we learning, and you know, we could come to the conclusion one day that all of this shit is bullshit, and the hot thing to do is, you know, smoking tobacco and blowing smoke in tobacco's smoke circles to get all of our divination. We might progress to that point one day, and it's all in the account of learning, because I don't have no ego when it comes to this shit in particular. So thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate the love. I appreciate people paying attention to, you know, this constant evolution of learning and this constant evolution of thought. Been on my writing shit a lot. So hoodmystic.com, I think every 3 days I put out an article in the month of April. So thanks for so much support on hoodmystic.com. If ever we can come up with any groups or come up with any think tanks, just feel free to let me know. If you a part of think tanks, if you a part of conference calls, and if you inviting people or looking for people to join, you know, let me know. But my goal is all into connecting, and connection is all I've ever done and all I've ever wanted to do. So, you know, as we continue on, we'll continue connecting. But peace. Thank you guys for joining me. This has been the Pluto Saturn Retrograde video. And like I said, it's a 6-month journey. So we'll be talking a lot more about this, but just kind of wants to crack the egg open a little bit and examine the opening contents. Peace, y'all. Have a good one.